Hi friends, welcome back. So headline, AI boom drove Nvidia profits up 580% last year. And Jim Cramer says Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang is a bigger visionary than Elon Musk. And S&P 500 hits a record. NASDAQ hits for best day in over a year after blockbuster Nvidia earnings. And there's one more, guys. This is a crazy one. Google to pause Gemini image generation after AI refuses to show images of white people. So that's a real headline. Anyway, I want to go through this stuff and share my thoughts on Nvidia, AI, and does Google in fact hate white people? This is something I want to show you guys first, though. This is a comment that I got on a video on the Norse Trade CoffeeZilla thing. If you haven't seen that video, please check it out. But basically, Norse Trade is a scammer dude, and sometimes you'll get comments in support of him. This is coming in 11 minutes ago. It says, I trade with Nor every day and make good money doing it. You guys can stay broke. I could care less. Again, 11 minutes ago from user QQ4UD8ZJ5K. And if you take a look into it a little bit further, the person's name is Waylon Picard. And this is on January 11th, 2024 is when their account was created, so about a month ago. This smells of bot / fake account to me. I mean, or it's Nord Trade just making a whole bunch of these kind of things. But the reason why I'm showing you this is that I think the AI / robot spam generator world, etc. I don't think this is going away anytime soon, unfortunately. And something like this, this could be user created, not necessarily like robot created. If you guys know what I'm saying, they're using robots to create content essentially. It's not going to go away. Nvidia stock was up big today. I did not expect this 14.83, but about 15% in the day. And if you've been in this early this year, you've been doing fantastic, killing it, up 273%. Moreover, I actually drew the arrows already, but essentially the stock was going down this week because people were thinking, okay, can you really surprise us with great earnings and guidance? I guess the answer is yes. Stock shot up. You guys can see this. And then actually now Jim Cramer is saying that Jensen Huang is more cool than Elon Musk. Here's the actual quote, and you can take this as good or bad depending on your view on Jim Cramer. He says here, when he was asked if he believes Huang is a bigger visionary than Musk, he immediately responded yes without hesitation and called the Nvidia CEO the GOAT, right? Greatest of all time. And this is a quote from Jim Cramer on Jensen is I think Musk can see around the corner, but I think that Jensen is thinking about a legacy of changing the entire paradigm about the way the world is. Jensen is creating single-handedly an industrial revolution. And in fact, we have not seen this something like this before in history. And I'm going to show you this. It's kind of crazy numbers. Nvidia tops Meta record with over 230 billion jump in value. And we were just talking about this literally 20 days ago, just a few weeks ago, how Meta, when it went up, I can't remember what percentage it was. It was up big though. And that ended up being the biggest movement in terms of a single stock and dollar value in history. That was 196 billion in a single day. Now, evidently now Nvidia has the record. This was on February 22nd, 2024. 230 billion in a single day of market cap increase. Now, all of these kind of really massive moves have just been in the last few years. And then the reason why I'm showing you guys this stuff, sometimes people don't understand it, is the question is this normal? And the answer is no, it's not normal. These are the biggest moves in stock market history for single stocks by dollar, right? So not necessarily percentage, but by dollar. And you can see it's all in the last few years, 2024, 2022, 2020, etc. And it's Nvidia, Meta, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. My personal opinion on this stuff is that this is just crazy. And again, we have not seen this kind of moves in history. The one thing I want to point out to you guys, and I always mention this stuff, is how long can this stuff keep going, right? When you see like the biggest move in history kind of thing, will the CEO stick around and keep driving it forward? As Jim Cramer is saying, this dude now, Jensen Huang, is cooler than Elon Musk. Jensen is actually 61. You guys can see it. I don't know much longer he's going to do this. For example, Jeff Bezos is already retired. So Jeff, I think he retired a couple years ago already. So before he hit 60, he is 60 now. To give this a frame of reference, Lisa Su is 54. Elon Musk is 52, right? How much longer are these people going to do these things? Now, AI will indeed be part of the conversation, at least for the foreseeable future. If you check out what Elon Musk is like tweeting out, 15 hours ago. He's been promoting his Grok thing. He says here, perhaps it is now clear why XAI Grok is so important. It is far from perfect right now, but will improve rapidly. Version 1.5 releases in 2 weeks. A rigorous pursuit of the truth without regard to criticism has never been more essential. So he's going to keep tweeting that out. And he's actually attacking Google, which of course he is. That's his competitor. And this is Elon Musk 49 minutes ago. I just typed in Google query on my phone and 2 choices are pro censorship. Why censorship? Why censorship important, etc. And it's funny. The reason why I'm bringing this stuff up is even though someone like a Musk or Bezos, etc., are getting old, some of these people won't leave our conversations. Even after Musk, say, retires from Tesla or whatever, he'll still be on his mad Twitter/X tweeting about whatever he wants. So I think this kind of world of fake bots and spam, right, be it your trolleys or your basically fake supporter people, I don't think this world's going away anytime soon, nor do I think these sort of basically trolly, and you guys, if you like Elon Musk or don't like Elon Musk, you have to admit that he's pretty trolly. I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. I really don't. Moreover, I want to address the issue of, does Google hate white people? So this is an interesting question, is essentially, this was hitting all of the right-leaning publications. So I'll just read the headlines here. First, Elon Musk says, the woke mind virus is killing Western civilization. Google does the same thing with the search results, Facebook and Instagram too, and Wikipedia. New York Post put out Google's woke AI images, or AI makes Vikings black and the Pope a woman. And this is an image of you get when you type in founding father. Now, here's the issue with this stuff, guys. Google did issue an apology for this stuff, right? So you're getting under attack. But the way I look at these things is garbage in, garbage out, meaning that it depends what you're looking for and are you trying to manipulate the results or not. To be fair to Google Gemini, this is new technology. Moreover, it's not necessarily what people are searching for. It's not necessarily like an exact image. So like if I type in, it's a complicated question. So like, for example, if I type in, do me an image of Elon Musk, does it have the right to do said image? And is that necessarily what the software is designed to do? Is it designed to produce a direct photo of, say, something like Elon Musk? If, for example, and this is the example given in the article from The Verge, if you say, hey, give me founding fathers, it throws you all this kind of stuff. And then here, I think it would be an error in terms of historically accurate. So I would agree in that, because a black person wouldn't necessarily be a founding father. But this is the issue, though, like these aren't really real photos anyway. So it's all AI generated. And this is where it goes back to, like, what are we using this technology for? And this is sort of the criticisms where, like, if you say, show me diverse senators in 1800s, and I use the phrase garbage in, garbage out, but the point being is, like, if you ask it to show you diverse things, it's not necessarily going to be historically accurate necessarily, right? You're asking for fictional stuff to generate fictional things. Now, where this thing gets dicey or tricky, and this depends on your point of view on the world. Now, my point of view on the world is I live in the real world. I'll just be honest with you guys, most people don't. And this is the sad part. And this is also depends on kind of what you perceive the world to be. So think about this question. What is a picture of an American woman? It's a simple question. And could there be just one single image that would answer that question? And in this example that they, give in the article, a woman could be any number of shapes or sizes, right? It's not just one particular type of person. This is where it gets tricky. And then they're trying to criticize Google by saying, well, if you ask it, what is a 1943 German soldier? And clearly, historically, it's probably going to be more likely to be either this one or this one. But who knows? Maybe there weren't any women in that thing, right? But now, so historically, right, I would agree. This isn't historically necessarily accurate. However, guys, I grew up doing comic books and these kind of things, reading comics, I should say, and doing some. I actually haven't made comics, true story. People got purple hair in these things, and I still read it. So, I understand if you have a political bone to pick, you can certainly pick that. But again, I think it all depends on your point of view. So I'll ask you a simple question. What does a criminal look like on Wall Street? It's a simple question. And you're going to come up with a particular type of image. And I will say, though, that oftentimes people's images are shaped by media, not by actual real experience. So here's a simple example. For a lot of people, their image of someone on Wall Street, and this is Leonardo DiCaprio, he's an actor. So this is not even the real picture of the real person, which is Jordan Belfort. And for many people, they think, in their minds that this is everyone on Wall Street looks like that, and also criminals. But the reality is actually quite different. So just for example, in February 15, 2024, Mohammed Zina, right? This is a picture of essentially an insider trader person. You could say this is a criminal. People named Mohammed can be criminals too, just the way that people name Jordan can be criminals. Or, for example, a woman can be a criminal also regarding insider trading. This is Martha Stewart here. And this goes back to the question of like, when I ask you a simple question of what does a doctor look like? What does a firefighter look like, right? What does a nurse look like, right? And for some people, the nurse one's an interesting one. So maybe in the past, if I type in nurse, it would just be all female images, right? But you guys should know this, that nurses can be men too. So I don't get all bent out of shape about the whole AI thing. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this stuff. But I just wanted to throw this in the conversation that different people can fill all kinds of roles, but for some people, they get threatened if the image of what they think it should be. So if I say like, what does a nurse look like? Some people get really threatened if it's not a woman. I'm not one of those people. I'm okay with men being a nurse, and I'm okay with a woman being a nurse. That's just me. But like I said, some people get threatened by changes in how they perceive the world. Don't want to go spend too much time on this, but I do want to go talk about the AI situation because I think this is key. So overall, AI, yes, it looks like we're going to be having it, and is every company going to be successful, and is everyone going to make money all the time? I'm showing you this Lucid thing because this used to be the hot company, because remember EVs were hot and all the EV stocks were going up like crazy. Headline on February 22nd, 2024, Lucid Motors will only build 9,000 EVs in 2024 after it once predicted it would ship 90,000. The reason why I'm showing you this is because just because some dude on YouTube tells you that something's going to go to the moon and going to be awesome, because there were a lot of channels out there telling you that Lucid was going to be awesome. I never liked Lucid. I thought it was an ugly car, and I thought it was too expensive. So I turned out to be right on that, both being ugly and too expensive. But moreover, it looks like they're going to fail. So they were saying here, and I'm just reading this. It says Lucid plans to build just 9,000 vehicles in 2024, only 500 to 1,000 more than 2023. So they just don't build that many cars. I think it's going to be tough. And someone asked me in a comment just a few minutes ago before uploading this video about what's going on with Rivian. It's the same kind of situation. They're just not making that many cars. So this is Rivian, guys. And essentially they are making, they gave some numbers here. Yeah, 57,000 cars. And I guess it's the same this year as it was last year. So they're not growing at all. Now, yes, 57,000 is definitely better than 9,000, but it's a far cry from like a major automaker, which would be like in the million, the 2 million, 10 million, these kind of things. So really a far cry of vehicles. Moreover, we're talking about the Rivian situation, why I'm bringing it up regarding, companies failing, etc. They're firing another 10% of their workers. And I can't keep track of all the times they've been firing people, because it's been news just trickling out every couple of months that they fire yet another 10%, another 10%, another 10%, etc. And this is a quote from the CEO. It says here, this was the email put out by people, but a quote from the email. It says, the business is facing a challenging macroeconomic environment, including historically high interest rates and geopolitical uncertainty, and we need to make changes now to ensure our promising future. So I guess they got 16,000 hourly workers and salary workers combined, and they're not going to say exactly how many people are fired, but it's about 10% is what the rumor has it. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this stuff up and the whole thing with AI, et cetera, is because oftentimes people get survivorship bias, meaning that you look at the things that were successful and you think that is the model for everything. And so generally speaking, on like a YouTube, et cetera, you just say, hey guys, everyone who got into Tesla early is super, super rich. And yeah, that's certainly true. Yeah, if you got in early. And then if you think that is the normal thing, if you think that is the thing that happens all of the time, you're actually wrong. I'll give you some examples. So that's Tesla. If you got in early, you did fantastic. If you got in early on Fisker, not so much, depending on when you bought and sold this thing, right? Everything depends on the timing. But it looks like Fisker, and I didn't even show you articles of this one, but I think they're going to get delisted and possibly just go defunct. Henrik Fisker, the guy who started this one, I think he's had like 2 failures before, so this would be number 3. And I mean, you can see right there. And I wanted Fisker to be successful. I liked their design. I think it was called the Ocean, etc. But there's just not enough room or execution or money or whatever. It's just not happening. Mullen I knew was a scam from the beginning. It was easy to figure. That one was easy. I didn't like their car. The CEO was always scammer, etc. That's down 100%. Rivian, you can see the stock here down to 90% from IPO. And then you also have Lucid, which is down a whole bunch, depending on when you bought it. So the peak of this thing was like in the 50s and 60s. I'm showing you guys this stuff because, again, most of the channels out there will just say, hey, Tesla's awesome, etc. And before, there's a ton of channels promoting the Lucids, the Mullins, etc. And essentially trying to convince you that everything is like Tesla. Not necessarily the case. And so this is where, why are we talking about this stuff with the Nvidia things, etc. There was a lot of companies trying to piggyback off of Nvidia, and a lot of those are probably going to fail, right? And you'll see it. It was just in the news the other day. I showed you guys in another video where like Nvidia was pumping, and then there was like all these like really, really small companies, unprofitable, that were going up like 40% in a day kind of thing. And there was one that was even delisted. It was the trucking one, the AI driving one. And some of these companies don't make it. Now, probably in history, we'll completely forget about the Mullen one. It won't even be mentioned, and so it won't even be on Google anymore. Whereas something like a Cisco survived the dot-com bubble, but it actually never recovered from its all-time high. And there's a bunch of companies like that either failed or they peaked. They're legitimate companies. Like guys, Nvidia isn't a legitimate company. And they're in the legitimate industry, but will it necessarily, continue the crazy growth that we're seeing today? That's why I showed you guys before that we're actually essentially at the biggest in history in terms of market gain in a single day. And so these kind of things to me signify a peak. That's just me because I can read numbers, but I'll let you guys decide for yourself. And I just show you everything as much as I can. What could AI actually be used for, and how like realistically going forward? Because that's always the question. This was an interesting one by TechCo. They just give out some tasks that we'll probably use AI for. So one would be emails and reports, writing stuff. I would agree with that. Is it going to completely erase people? Maybe, but it'll probably be like a lot of autocomplete. And I know for coding as well. Design tasks is another one, right? So it'll speed up a lot of photo, and image manipulations or whatever. Language translation, I think that'll be big. Yes. Automated data entry, scheduling and calendar management for sure. Recruitment and HR support. Okay, so I could see that going through resumes really quickly. I could totally see that. Data analysts, I could see that. Running customer support chatbots completely. Document classification and management, yes. And there's a bunch of other stuff in there. Cybersecurity is one of these ones. So that's an interesting one because I think that's going to be still a really important field. I think there'll be lots of jobs in it, but maybe different than what we thought before. Some of the newer jobs, and there's a bunch in here, guys. Some of the newer jobs that are really interesting that Amazon actually put out a report saying this is the new opportunities in AI. And again, why are we talking about this stuff is because like, what is the future of AI? Is we're all going to get rich off of it, etc. If you want a new job, according to Amazon, this is stuff with the opportunities, and they're actually really funny. So these are, again, 5 new jobs from that Amazon is predicting in AI. Precision farming analyst, adding AI from farm to table. And the gist of it says here, agriculture has become an increasingly technical science, and these AI-trained analysts will further revolutionize the farming industry as they maximize yields. So that's interesting. I could totally see that. So again, analyzing data and making decisions based off of that. I could see the farming, crop rotation, where to plant, etc., all data-based. 100%, I can see that. Here's some interesting other new ones. Virtual tourism producer, shaping the future of travel. So using AI/VR, etc. I actually think this stuff is going to be big in the future as well. I'll give you a simple example. So let's say I can't go to the World Series or the Super Bowl, but I can put on my VR glasses, and there'll be ways to broadcast the game as if you're sitting in the front row seat. So I don't think it'll necessarily replace the experience of being at the game, but I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm really old, let's say like 95, etc., and it's just not practical for me to fly out to the game. Cost is just prohibitive. Maybe I can't walk so good. It's just not practical for me to go to the game for any number of reasons, right? I think this stuff will be popular for children to be able to tour museums and stuff all around the world via VR/AI stuff. I think yeah, sure. I think that is a thing. But how far are we away from that? Because right now, for me personally, I don't want to wear the goggles, and I'm fine just looking at the web as itself. But you never know in the future where we can go with these kind of things. Here's another one. Artisanal restoration specialist, making the old new again. So this is basically restoring old stuff to new using AI. And I think that's kind of related to the design slash image and photo repair. Actually, true story, there was a AI company that contacted me, and actually AI companies contact me a lot to promote their products on the channel. I don't do it, so as you guys can see, I don't promote any particular companies. And this is a true story, if there's something like I think is really awesome, I just want to show you because it's really awesome, I will, but generally speaking, I don't do these things. This is something though that I think is an interesting, is that there was a company that contacted me, they wanted me to promote it, whatever, but what it did, it was fascinating. It actually took your old pixel photos and like upgrade them to 4K, etc. So I thought the tech was really interesting. Whether it's something to show you guys, there's a lot of companies out there that do that. Here's another one here. Cosmic reality engineer, again a new job with AI. It says these experts in the field of interstellar studies will harness human imagination and advanced AI skills to visualize distant and sometimes invisible parts of the cosmos. So I think that stuff's pretty cool. As well, and essentially, if you guys are into space science and stuff like that, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the uses of AI. I can just tell you, I have a friend. I see his posts on social media every now and then where he and his son like look at galaxies far away and stars, etc., and always post it. And it's like really, really fascinating. You can actually do that if you know how to image stuff, and it's not AI generated. Like literally, they just do like a time lapse kind of. I actually don't know exactly how to do it. I'll say long exposure. That's probably the better way to say it. And to get images of our galaxies, it's pretty fantastic actually. So how AI will generate other stuff will be really interesting in terms of studying space science. And here's another one, AI nurse. And how they describe this one is AI will play a big role in helping nurses and other medical professionals diagnose illnesses, monitor vital signs, and track medications and wellness plans for patients. So that could actually be a future thing as well. It is, I wear my Apple Watch thingy, tracks my vitals, and based on that can give you recommendations, etc. I can totally see that kind of stuff happening in the future. So there will be definitely be applications for AI. The question is, a couple questions would be, is Nvidia the only company in the whole world that's going to make chips to design for this kind of stuff? How much longer will this go? The one thing I will say though is that for AI to really continue, it needs to be profitable, meaning that is it worth it for companies to invest a bunch of money, be it like Meta, Facebook, for example, invest a bunch of money in this said thing, buy all these said chips? Are they going to get a return on their investment? Also, too, are there going to be enough companies that want to replace people with computers? I think the answer is yes on the second one, because we've already seen automation quite a bit, and it's way better to have a robot / computer than someone who's going to complain all the time and they're going to want to ask for raises, etc. If you can get essentially automation to be working 24/7 at a cheaper, yes, they'll do that. So we're going to see how these things are going forward. So anyway, do appreciate your time and all these things. I know we talk about a lot in this episode. I always have a lot on my mind on this stuff, and I appreciate the community, and you guys are awesome. So thanks again, and I'll catch you next video.